Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest edition and iteration of our Landall Cutting Edge podcast. I'm really pleased to be joined with Craig Harry. Hello, Craig.
Hi, Jason. How you doing?
Very well, thank you, mate. Very well, and I'm conscious that I'm beginning to sound like a little bit of a stuck record in terms of saying my latest guest is somebody that I've known for a long time, but I have and Craig, if I can just ask you initially to give an introduction to the viewers and the audience in terms of who you are, the company that you're working for, and kind of what they do.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thanks for inviting me onto the podcast. Really appreciate it. I'm the head of sales for Duplo UK. We're based down in Addlestone, near not too far from Heathrow Airport. And Duplo UK is part of Duplo International. So Duplo International covers the whole of the EMEA region. And we are basically suppliers into the UK print industry for print finishing equipment. So we have a whole range of products that service that market space.
Yep, brilliant, mate. And as we know, and we'll discuss in a little bit more detail later on, we are a fully authorised partner of Duplo with the ability to sell and supply the Duplo product range. Hence the reason for inviting you on today and for us to kind of get that mutual relationship across. Now, something I'd like to do, because like I said at the start, mate, I feel like a bit of a stuck record telling everyone that I've known everybody for so long, but I'm going to make it. I'm going to ask the question, a bit risky perhaps. Dependent on which route you want to take, but perhaps a little interesting fact around how long you and I have known each other, or whether there's a funny story of something that of maybe a night out or something. I don't know, but perhaps the former is probably more safe.
Yeah, that's probably a different podcast. But no, I think just so for everyone listening, so me and Jason go back, I think it's probably around 16 years. And the story that really springs to mind for me is I remember vividly the day that my wife called me to say that she was pregnant. And my son is now just about to turn 16, and I was actually stood next to you when I took that phone call. So
Yep.
You always spring to mind when it's when my son, when it's his birthday and stuff. So yeah, that's how long we've known each other.
And a little bit frightening. We were mentioning before at the start of the call. Anyone who does know me, which I'm sure they'll understand what I mean by this. I'm not particularly the tallest person in the world, am I? And then speaking to you the other day about your boy and how sort of tall he is now, it's incredible how quickly the time passes. But look, let's get into the kind of the crux of what we want to talk about. And again, something which has been discussed a lot and overly, but we know that this industry is moving. We know that things are changing. That incident and that event that happened a couple of years ago, the pandemic, COVID, has changed a lot of things in a perspective and in terms of a lot of way that customers and digital printers, commercial print space, are looking at their businesses. And we've definitely seen that there's been an opportunity to work with clients in a consultative capacity to look at things like inefficiencies within the workflow, within their business and the workflows, etc. Concerns around don't want to potentially invest right now because I'm a little bit nervous about what that return might look like. In terms of what you've seen from that finishing space, is it something that's very similar?
100%. We're talking to customers all the time. Some customers are sort of back to volumes pre-COVID levels.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's a very challenging market, but one of the buzzwords that I'm hearing all the time, one of the trends is around sustainability. And obviously, things like automation with some of our products can help with reducing waste and stuff like that. So absolutely, yeah, it's there's loads of opportunities out there to address inefficiencies in workflow, and finishing plays a big part in that for sure.
Yeah, and it's important. It's something which I really do want to make clear. I mean, as you know, we represent the client in the market space. We have partner agreements with all of the manufacturers of digital hardware solutions. So from a toner-based perspective, that includes the big players: Ricoh, Canon, Konica, Xerox. But my product, we can have finishing in line, but typically that's a printed sheet which comes out the back end of those products. what you actually do is then make that product saleable with what you do on the process post the print engine. So would you say that there's any additional challenges that these customers are facing if they aren't looking at the efficiencies and automation within the space?
Yeah, I think we all know that you know the COVID situation meant that the industry lost a lot of skilled labour, and obviously now with volumes coming back up to where they were pre-COVID, there is a challenge in some print organisations to be able to handle the volume of work. So
Yep.
helping customers with things like automation, reducing kind of touch points, reducing wastage through the automation that we can provide with some of our finishing capabilities is really helping customers, you know, address that situation, increase margins on job,
Yep.
reduce the amount of waste and spoilage. So yeah, that's how we can help through the automation.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And in terms of, would you have any idea around kind of statistically, any numbers that you can share in terms of what Duplo do, number of customers that they've got in this UK area?
If I think specifically about the automation from the Fiery engine that drives the Duplo, what we call the DC products, we've got over 500 installations in the UK of our DC products. But I would say in the last couple of years, nearly every one of those installs that we've made has been integrated into some sort of barcoded workflow. So yeah, it's very common now that in that pre-sales, in the demonstration, we are showing the automation.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned a couple of things there that I'd like to refer back to. So Fiery, obviously being the front end. Other front ends are available, but for me, it's kind of it's a universal front end. It sits on the front. For me, it's market leading, and which is why the majority of my customers are running with an engine with a Fiery at the front. You mentioned the DC series. You and I have had some mutual success. Don't want to kind of talk and name the customers that we've put those machines into, but they're absolutely doing that and using those products in that exact same process that you're talking about. So in terms of the barcoding, and there's one in particular that I can think of specifically that was a brand new customer into this industry. Didn't have digital print internally in-house before, really wanted someone to be able to put their arms around this particular guy, and I'm sure you'll know exactly sort of what and who we're talking about. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on what we did in that and how we've managed to streamline that for him?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, you made the introduction for us, and through a conversation with that particular client, we sort of really understood what they were trying to achieve. Like you said, they were totally new into the industry, so you know, the opportunity there for us was to really help them make this whole investment as seamless as possible. And with the automation and everything kind of being PC controlled, I think they really bought into the ease of use. And clearly, with everything being sort of PC driven, automated through barcode, it just made everything just so simple for them to grasp as an investment and to make it work for their business.
Yeah, and if I think back to it, I mean, I speak to that customer still regularly, and it's really genuinely, it's a courtesy call just to say everything okay. He doesn't call me with any issues. It's been a really seamless and smooth installation for him. The products is printed using your barcode technology. It's then finished, and it's a ready-made version, finished product ready to be sold and shipped on the back of that without having to invest lots of time in having skilled labor investment in staff, and he's made a really successful business on the back of that. And so again, mate, so I appreciate your support with that one as well. That kind of leads on to something else, and another consideration, because people might be sat there thinking, oh, hold on, this just sounds like we're adding another process or another step. It is really very simple, isn't it?
Yeah, there shouldn't be any fear with trying to adopt, you know, automation. It's there for a reason. It's trying to remove sort of manual tasks, and it's just streamlining the process. And with what we can do with the digital front end, and the automation, it just makes everything so seamless. It
Yep.
reduces the touch point. And with our DC products, it just enables you to take a printed sheet and finish that job. You don't have to take it to variable or lots of different finishing devices. It's one device, and out the other end comes the finished saleable item that you're supplying to that the customer's supplying to their customer. So it's really painless in terms of the integration.
Yep, and we would be more than happy to mutually go and visit these clients, invite them into the showrooms, and do exactly what we've done on the previous occasions. I'm sure. Is there anything that you can think of that's maybe perhaps coming down the line that might be the next thing? I know that artificial intelligence is something which is spoken about very much in everything that we hear and sort of see at the moment. You think that's going to be something which is brought into this sort of technology as well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got the big Drooper exhibition coming up very soon, end of May, beginning of June, and I'm sure that's going to be very interesting in terms of the advances that a lot of the different manufacturers have made. I think we're going to see a lot of robotics, a lot of AI stuff going on. Duplo is going to be launching some new products. So if any listeners are out there, come along to our stand. It's a very exciting time for the industry. Automation, robotics, it's all about helping customers process the work through the factory seamlessly as possible, as quickly as possible. So it's going to be a very, very exciting time.
I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Can you give us an insight or any indication as to what might be available for anyone attending Drooper? I'll be there as well, by the way.
Yeah, so we launched a new product just before Christmas. That's out in the public domain, a new booklet maker. Again, we have some automation within that product. We're just about to launch a couple of new products pre-Drooper. So if we were doing this podcast maybe 4 or 5 weeks down the road, I could have talked about those products, but I can't just do that today. And then at Drooper itself, we'll be launching some new products. So for us here at the moment at Duplo UK, very exciting times. And it's all about how we can help our customers be more efficient in their workflow.
Yeah, and something else which I really want to make sort of abundantly clear: people who are going over to Drooper, it really from the Duplo perspective, what's coming off of the back end. I know we touched on the fact that those toner-based technologies are fully integrated, etc. But if we were to open it up and talk about any of the manufacturers of digital equipment, we know that, from your previous working experiences, Craig, there are other manufacturers that are producing maybe sort of what's viewed as hybrid type solutions. Again, do you want to touch on that a little bit further?
Yeah, I mean, our technology is very kind of open-ended, so we can integrate with your technology that you're providing into the market. We also work with some of the other leading digital press manufacturers. So yeah, we have links. There's maybe some different software solutions, different ways of doing it. We can also pull templates out from our DC products that can go back into the digital pre-press department. The artwork is overlaid, and so the barcodes can work in that way. So again, the opportunities are endless when it comes down to a printing factory looking at ways of automating from print to finish. We've definitely got a solution that can help customers irrespective of the technology they're using.
Yeah, and I think it's really to kind of wrap things up, unless there's anything specifically you kind of want to discuss in addition, Craig. But with our help, support, knowledge, advice, guidance, as much as there might be an initial investment, we can demonstrate very, very clearly that investment over a period of time will save a significant amount of time, effort, and money.
Oh, absolutely. And I think we both know that the consultative approach in these situations is an absolute must. Clearly we need to understand what's in the customer's job basket, what type of applications are they printing, and then from that we can determine whether it's a particular DC product, because we've got a whole range of products in that portfolio, and we can basically recommend the right solution. So it's about working with you, working with the customer, understanding exactly what their needs and requirements are before we propose the final solution. But in nearly every single case, customers see an instant benefit when they start to use the automation across the Duplo products.
Yeah, and I think we've only really touched on skimmed the surface here by talking kind of quite specifically around the DC products as well. Anybody who hasn't been to Duplo for any period of time, I would absolutely say that make a suggestion that if you're considering any type of finishing solutions really is important to go and see not only what's there today, but I mean the whole experience is great. It's a lovely showroom that you've got over there in Addleston, like you say, not too far from Heathrow. And this DC series is just a small portion of the products that you've got. Some fantastic embellished finishing products as well, and everything. So we would welcome anybody to visit, to have a look, wouldn't we?
Oh, absolutely. And it always amazes me, actually, that when customers come in to look at maybe some sort of specific product, they always look over their shoulder and say, what does that machine do? And we end up getting into a whole different conversation. So once they've seen the kind of ease of use with the DC products, for example, that's transferable. The PC controller software that we use is very similar across our portfolio. So, variable page extent booklets on our booklet makers. We have a solution for today's market, and our product's very relevant for today's market in the digital space.
Yeah, and I know that when the podcast is sent out, there will be the contact details, etc., for us, so that we can pick that up as well. And then just to wrap things up a little bit lighthearted, we've been getting some really positive feedback on these podcasts. I'm sure we're going to get the same, Craig, from this. At least I definitely hope so. Somebody pointed out yesterday that this headpiece is very Madonna-esque. Now, I'm pretty sure that most people would agree that if they've got a choice of looking at one or the other in scantily clad clothes, it ain't going to be me. But anyway, yeah, again, that probably for another podcast as well, though, mate. Hey, but there we go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Craig, thanks again for joining us. Is there anything else that you'd like to sort of share before we go?
No, I think that's it. I think we've covered everything. I think obviously it's exciting times for us. Just to wrap up, it's a whole bunch of new products coming out. I think Drupa's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. We're really excited as a business about how we can help customers become more efficient with the new technology that we're launching, and it's great to work in partnership with yourself, Jason. And let's hope it continues.
Yeah, in fact, I do need to speak to you about something else which has come up this week. There's an opportunity.
There you go.
There we go, mate. Perfect. Thanks ever so much, then, Craig. And I'll speak to you too soon. No doubt I'll see you at Drupa, but we'll definitely catch up prior to then anyway.
Great. Cheers, Jason. Thanks
a lot, mate. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.